Hello everyone and welcome to this month's UniPhi webinar on document simplicity. Before I get into the agenda for this webinar, we just wanted to share something with you that you may have seen on our recent communications. And that is a new purpose that we've defined for ourselves here at UniPhi. And this was based on some comment that a user made to us last year. And this is that we want to be business software that people want to use. So that's our motto, that's what we're striving for. And one of the key things to achieving that is getting your feedback. If you're logged into or watching this webinar, then you're one of our engaged users, one of our super users, and we want you to be the people who want to use our software. So, and in this context, particularly around documents, if you see something, if you can see a way that we can make things better, your feedback is so valuable to us. The stuff that we're going to be showing you, the new features we're going to be showing you in this webinar have all come from both feedback from users and from requirements that businesses have given to us. This leads us to see what users need in the software and then develop new features. So please keep talking to us. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear your frustrations. We really want that feedback because it helps us to create a better product. So today, our agenda is to look at four things. Our simplified document editing interface that will make things clearer and simpler for most users. New features around drag and drop in documents. Track changes in documents, and some improvements to user profiles. So that's enough of PowerPoint. So I'm logged in and I'm just going to change my login to a non-administrator user for the purpose of this. So I'm logged in to UniPhi here into this particular project, and I'm going to start off a document workflow process. Now, up until this point, within the documents module, the only way you could do that was by clicking on the new button, selecting the template you want and proceeding from there. Or from Outlook, using the Save as Document button. There's a new way to do that now. So I've just opened up a list of files that I want attached to a document in UniPhi, and I can now just drag that into the documents module. And you'll see here, we get drop files. These files are now uploading. And once they've uploaded, I'll then be able to choose the template that I want these uploaded into. Perhaps should have selected a couple of fewer files. Let me just remove those two from the list to hurry this along a bit. So now it's given me the create new document window that I would have got if I just hit new document. So I will select the template I want. In this case, I want design drawings, because I'm working through the process here of updating, as it says here, the latest design drawings that have been issued on this project by the architect. Something else I wanted to point out while we're here in this document creation window is you'll see the new document name is grayed out. If I click on that eye, it says document name will be generated automatically at the finish step. So this is a feature that's been in UniPhi since the last release last year of UniPhi 15, and it allows you to configure business rules that will create the document name based on fields that are available to you within UniPhi. So when that's the case, it appears as grayed out in this document. But I wanted to point that out to you, as not all our users are aware of this feature as it's relatively new. So I now hit create, and I'm in the regular document editing view with my checklist. And if I go to the next step here, latest drawings, here are my uploaded files. Now, if I haven't got everything here, I can go back to my step here and also drag and drop within the document itself. So you can do it to create a document, but also within the document, rather than opening up the attached files, browsing to the file, you can just drag it in here as well. That's useful if you're editing a document. The other thing I wanted to point out, in addition to this drag and drop feature, some of you will notice that the interface here with all the document steps has been streamlined. And in its place, there's this little cog here, which when I hover over it says setup and page options. I'll click on this to display it. What we've done is hidden these for most users. The thinking behind it is that for most users, they don't need to worry about the step and page configurations. They're set to what they need to be. They just follow the steps and create the document and complete their workflow. For more advanced users who may want to change these for more complex documents, or if there's something different in this particular document, that's all still there. And you can click on this and you can amend the title of the step, the page orientation, the page break, and also choose to hide this step from the final document if you need to. But the feedback was that it's really only more advanced users doing this, and users who are less frequent users or who don't need to do this were sometimes looking at this information and wondering whether they needed to input anything. And if they don't, we've now made it default that that's not displayed to them. So hopefully this will be a nicer, cleaner and simpler thing for them to create their documents. So I'll just keep going through the steps in this document. There's our distribution list. Save and continue. I'm now at the finish step, and you'll notice here we have the document name, and that's now been populated. So in this case, it's populated with the project name, the document creator, and then this number here is a unique document ID that sits within the system. You can actually see it's up here in the URL. So it's the database ID. Every document has a unique number in UniPhi, and you may have a business rule that requires that to be part of your document names. The idea here is that any business rules that you have for naming documents, you would have the fields available in UniPhi for this to be auto-generated to reduce the data input of users in creating document names. So I'll just close this document and go back to my documents module in the project, because I want to show you the track changes ability. Now, down here, I've got a PCG report that I've been writing, and we can see that that's up to version 3 of this document. So I click on the document name to open the document, and it displays version 3 of the document. There we are. We can see the editing history here. And here's my executive summary that I've been writing. If I go back up here to the document toolbar and change this to version 2, and when that loads, and I scroll back down to my executive summary, we see things have changed. What we're showing you is what has changed between the current version of the document, in this case version 3, and the version that you're viewing here, being version 1. And as you can see, in the latest version, we've added a lot more information into our executive summary, and we've deleted some of our first attempt at writing it. The text that's been deleted or replaced is in red, the new text is in green and underlined. And this allows any user who has access to the document to see what has changed between a given version of a document and the current version. If you're collaborating on documents and you've done one version and someone has done the next version, you can see how they've gone in and vastly improved or completely ruined what you've done. And of course, there remains the feature that we've always had, the ability to revert to an earlier version. So if you ask someone to redraft their executive summary and it's not what you were going for, we could revert back to version 2 and pick it up again from there if we needed to. So that is track changes. Now, I'll just close this document because the last thing we want to show you was some improvements around user profiles. And if I click on the menu up here, you'll notice something new here. We've always had this to say who's been logged in, so your login details, but we've also got a user profile picture. And if I click anywhere on here, it will take me into those profile details. So what I'm looking at is the record for my contact as my user profile. And we've got some new information displayed here and some information that we've always had within a new view within the system. The information that was here previously was displayed under the contact details for a user. But because we've expanded what you can do with it, we've now moved this into the new subnav here called profile. So the new item is the profile picture. And if we click on here, we can find an appropriate picture and upload it, replace the Lego minifigure if we wanted to. The other thing we're displaying down here is the signature that's assigned to this user. This was always displayed, but it was displayed just as a file. So it's now, we're now showing the actual image and also the email signature here. So if you're maintaining an email signature in UniPhi or sending out transmittals and emails from UniPhi, you can have your standard email signature in here as well, and users can maintain that. The other thing that we've put here and made it a bit easier for users to update is the default settings of the portfolio filters in UniPhi. So these are the portfolio filters up here in this modal. And users can either have set for them by system administrators or can set for themselves what they want their views to be. So in this case, this user, Joseph Hunter, his default settings are to always be looking at the project management service line and the My Portfolio view. So he'll only be looking at his projects and those projects within the project management service line when he's logged into this deployment. Now, we can further amend that. For instance, we can select a location here. So let's say that Joseph works in the Los Angeles office. So we can set that to be Los Angeles. And then the next time that Joseph logs in, he'll only be seeing the Los Angeles projects in the project management service line that he is allocated to. And as you can see here, those filters are applied up here and they can easily be removed. And then that will open up the projects that can be displayed. But we want users to be able to select the view that they most need to see 90% of the time, so they don't have to select those filters every time they log into UniPhi. Cool. So thank you for joining today's webinar. Hopefully we've shown you some nice new features. And as I said at the beginning, we're looking forward to getting your feedback on these or on other features and improvements that you might like to see in UniPhi in the future. Thanks, everyone.